Hey guys, as always, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come watch the Blue Table Talk. Just want to make this quick video to let you know that the next couple of weeks are going to be a little different. I recently went to a conference and I was asked what critical theory and comparative literature mean to the world. What's the importance? And I thought about it and I realized that I think the biggest thing that theory has to offer is an ability to open a discourse. All too often, as Christian has said, we see theory for theory's sake. People write this jargony essay about what this or that means, and nobody actually thinks about it. They read it, they like the jargon, they eat it up, they have a response. But I think theory has a place in society as an ability to open a discourse, and once we start talking about things, things can change. And I think that the political movements, the literature aspects of theory are underutilized and should be more utilized. So, in the next couple of episodes, is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to start a discourse. I have a special guest here, a good friend of mine, and we're just going to open a dialogue about what an author is and about gender performativity, which I think are two topics that have a lot of weight and people think about them every day without actually thinking about theory. So, hope you guys enjoy. Catch us in the next episode. It'll be great. Thank you. So to give a little more insight on what the author is, we're going to discuss we're going to respond more to Barth's essay, The Death of an Author. He argues that by giving a text an author, you give it a singular meaning. If we try to figure out what the text means by figuring out what the author was trying to say, we give a singularity to the text that isn't actually real. That there's this plurality of meanings, that there's a galaxy of signifiers, in that you can never pinpoint what the meaning is because there's so much. And I agree that working backwards from what the author was trying to say in a text is not the way to figure out the meaning. I believe, in that sense, that authorship is false. That the piece, once put out into the world, is no longer solely the author's, but the reader has agency to decide to figure out meanings. However, to completely say the author is dead is separating, in my opinion, literature from society. And if we only view literature in the sense that it's only meant to be read and find the meaning and find the beauty, then yes, maybe there is no author. But today, literature is so much more. Authors put so much of themselves, of their struggles, of their oppression, into their work that to separate the author, to say the author is dead, is almost disrespectful to them. So I believe there's a lot of discussion to be had about what the actual role of an author is, what the author means to a text, what the author means to literature, and even further, what literature means to the world. So with me is going to be an author herself, talking about what the role of an author is, and how we can view that, how we can see both sides of the discussion. So, our second episode is on gender performativity and its role in feminism, in the feminist movement. Gender performativity, in relation to what Butler described it as, is that gender is a social construct, and I believe this wholeheartedly. And Butler argues that your gender is a performative act, that it's only goes so far as to what you renew and believe is your gender. It's not ingrained at birth. It's not something that you're given. And I think a huge part of that is that gender, the way we view it, is socially made, is that we label these acts as feminine or masculine, as man or woman, and that's what we believe is gender. Whether or not this is correct, I don't know. However, I disagree with the belief that gender is binary, that there's this man and woman role and it's at birth, it's definitive. I think that gender is way more fluid than that. I think that gender is a social construct and that society has made us believe that certain qualities are feminine, certain qualities are masculine. And in America especially, masculine qualities are better. Feminine qualities are viewed as weak, as lesser, and I think that this idea of gender performativity, this idea that gender is not given to a man, it's not given to a woman, that gender is this act, it's this performative aspect of it, is huge in the feminist movement. I think that if more people start to see that a woman can be strong, that a woman can be anything, that a woman isn't just a collection of feminine properties, that it's this act that, yeah, maybe what we view as a woman has a lot of feminine traits because of the way that society has created this idea. However, that doesn't make woman a woman and a man a man. I think that once we start to view gender as fluid, as these sets of acts that maybe, you act masculine 1 second and the next second you do a feminine act, quote unquote, then we can start to deconstruct this binary and deconstruct this idea that men deserve more, that women should stay in their place. And the feminist movement has so much more to work with. And not only that, the feminist movement can incorporate the LGBTQ community in a new way, instead of just saying, yeah, we want rights as women, and these people also want rights as a lesser group, as someone who's viewed as weaker or whatever. But instead, realize that our goals are one and the same, that gender fluidity and sexual fluidity and everything that entrenches is a huge movement on its own. I think that queer theory and feminist theory is one of the most important critical theory aspects that I've learned about recently, and that can have a huge political importance to especially what's going on right now in America, especially what we're moving forward for. And I think that people are ready to hear about queer theory. People are ready to hear that gender is performative, that as a woman, I don't have a place that's designated, and as a man, you don't have to act a certain way to be manly and to be important. I think that this is a huge theory that we're going to discuss and kind of open the dialogue a little bit more and see where its place in media and where its place in all these other aspects lie.